It's your turn. No excuses. I'm Michele Thill with Newland Wellness, and it's time to rediscover you because I believe life begins really after 50. I want to share something with you that was shared with me. I'm going to read it to you. Tell me if this sounds like you, ladies. You've spent years putting everyone else first. Your kids, your spouse, your job, your aging parents. And now, for the first time in a long time, maybe the first time ever, it's about you. It's finally your turn. But instead of feeling excited, you feel stuck. You don't know where to begin. You ask yourself, who am I now? What do I even want? If this is you, you are certainly not alone. We fabulous women who are midlife find ourselves in this position at some point. Now, if you are following me or if you found me, you're someone who has been through a divorce. Maybe not your choice, like with me. 29 years together, and then all of a sudden, the last 10 years almost, I've been on my own. Or maybe you're someone who's been widowed, or you're still going through that empty nest feeling, or there's been a career pivot. And now things are shifting and changing, and the focus now is off of everything and everyone else and onto you. And that can feel very overwhelming. It's unfamiliar to us. We're used to being the caretakers. We're used to taking care of everyone else. And now it's pivoting and it's becoming about us. And that's unfamiliar. We're not used to that. And it can feel selfish even. Plus, add in that we're used to, as a culture, defining ourselves by the roles we hold. And some of those roles now are either gone or have shifted. And you start to realize, or I want to help you see, that you aren't any of those roles you held. That was what you did, not who you are. And now is the time to start getting curious about this point in your life and who you are now meant to be. Change is scary. We don't look at change as something that is embraced. It's feared. That said, you're in a position right now where you're facing change, or you have faced change. And now, what do? Do you just stay planted and kind of fall apart because the life you knew is no longer? Or do you start to wake up and realize that the life now that awaits you is for you to create? I look to give you hope because I understand that uncertainty, that fear, that wishing things were different, wishing things stayed the same. I say wishing things were different, but wishing things stayed the same. You know, maybe what you had wasn't the best of the best, but it's what you were familiar with. I can relate. You know, my marriage had its ups and downs, like so many marriages, right? I didn't want to see it end. And then I was faced with no choice. And instead of thinking life isn't fair, and oh, why did this happen to me? that's the thoughts that just keep us stuck. It weighs us down until we're just stuck in the ground there, not able to move forward. We're living in the past, and that's not helping you or realistically anyone around you, because your kids then worry about you. Your friends maybe get tired of hearing about it. Family, just pities you, and it's not the place to be. But I understand that place, and I'm here to help you rise out of that place, to plant some seeds that start growing within you, to realize that you are bigger and greater than any situation that you're in, and that the situations that you're in are ultimately here for you, for your evolution and your growth, even though it doesn't feel like it, especially in the moment. I get that. I miss the family life that I had. That said, those memories are always there that I can pop back into. And with my kids being grown, I really wouldn't want that same situation. Are you with me? We do want our kids to be able to fly on their own and have their own lives and not just stay where they are with us. So as we move forward in this life, how can you get unstuck? I want to give you 3 tips that will help you in the process of moving forward. And the first one is to start with curiosity, not pressure. You don't have to have this all figured out right now. We feel like we have to have things all mapped out before we move. I need to know the exact steps before I start. And once you start, the steps appear. And it's one step after another that leads to another, that leads to another. That's what I've learned in my own life. It's that first step out, and that could be a baby step that starts moving you forward. Starts getting you thinking, what brings me joy? What's something I've always wanted to do? Start asking those questions so that you can start figuring out you now. What lights you up? Our journey in life ultimately is about joy. Having that inner joy. And we relate that to outer circumstances happening. To me, that's the definition of happiness, is when outside things are happening, I feel happy. Inner joy, no matter what is going on, just having that joy and that peace, that things are going to work out, this too shall pass, and this is a growing period for me, has helped me tap into being more joy-filled. If you want to say the word happier, having a more optimistic attitude. I always had a very negative attitude, and I was raised with parents who were from a period where there was a lot going on, from the Depression to World War II, and they had a lot of anxiety and fears, understandably. And so I did as well. Being more positive or optimistic is a skill that you can learn and let it grow. And I've started coming from that place of seeing the brighter side to things, of looking for the rainbow, if you will, amongst the storm. That's something that was unfamiliar to me, that now feels more comfortable to me. And that's the other thing. The more you do something, the more familiar then you become with it. And over time, it becomes a new thought pattern or a new habit or routine or whatever. So again, starting out is not having it all planned out, but just getting curious about what's next. What's next? And take it one step, one day at a time. And start thinking about, what do I love? What would bring me joy? What would I like to check into right now? And then take small steps. You know, it's about starting something new. Maybe it's a new morning routine, or maybe it's starting a hobby, or doing something that makes you feel good. These little shifts end up making a big impact. You know, maybe it's getting out and walking every day, especially as we get closer to springtime. Last night, I happened to put on some music and I was just singing along. It just felt good, and it actually reconnected me to my childhood. How do you make yourself smile? Because life is meant to be enjoyed. It's just not meant to suffer through. And a lot of us have done a lot of suffering through it. The next one is rewrite the story you tell yourself. It's about reframing your words, because when you shift your mind and your thoughts, you can change your life. I really believe that, and I live that. So if you're having thoughts like, I'm too old to start over, or I don't have what it takes, I don't know how to do this, or what if I fail? What kind of thoughts are those? How do you move forward with those thoughts? You don't. Henry Ford was quoted as saying, if you think you can or you can't, you're right. And I believe that. Those are all I can'ts. So what if you were to rewrite it? I'm too old to start again. This is my time to rediscover myself. See the difference in that? It has curiosity. It has vibrancy and energy to it. I don't know how to do this can turn into, I'm learning how to do this. I'm stronger and smarter than I know. And I have the ability to figure this out. Or the what if I fail, you can turn into, you know what, there is no failure. I'm going to try and I'm going to learn. It's all a learning lesson. You may learn that what you've tried, you've succeeded. You may learn that what you try needs to be adjusted. Period. It's a learning process. We have to get rid of that word failure. There is no failure. And we, especially as women, we want things to be perfect, and we don't like to be judged, and we know we are. And we're afraid to move forward because we don't want to do something wrong. And then what happens? We don't move forward. And then that's a life wasted. I'm here to say, don't let that happen to you. If I'm on here sharing what I am, know you have it in you to do whatever you desire as well. And then the last one is take a bold, imperfect action with all your brilliance and your imperfections. Do something and move forward. Don't expect it to be perfect. Just take an action. Take a step that helps you start to connect with you now. And that action might be sitting down and journaling on those questions I gave earlier about what brings you joy, what would you love, what have you always wanted to do, or maybe what do you want to reconnect to doing. Spend time figuring things out, and I really do like the writing aspect or even typing it on your computer. Asking a question and then just letting whatever comes out come out. Don't try to censor it or monitor it or judge it. It could be very short, it could be lengthy, but you'll start opening up your heart to what really makes you tick when your head gets out of the way. So try that. And then, whatever that might be, take that action. You know, maybe it's joining a yoga class. Maybe it's taking a class in something. Maybe it's picking up that old camera and getting back into photography, or buying some paints and a canvas and start painting again. What would be a bold, imperfect action you can start taking as you start stepping forward? I'd love to hear what has worked for you, and also if you can resonate with what I'm saying here. And if you like what you're hearing, please like, follow, subscribe for more. I also have a monthly membership. It's called Newbie. It's all about a new way to be. And it's helping us women at this stage in our lives rediscover ourselves. I believe in you. And I thank you for spending some time with me today. Until next time, be well.